Hello friends, welcome back to UPSC series by Friend of Health. So today in this third episode we'll see Materia Medica. So if you see the 2016 question paper of UPSC Medical Officer Homeopathy, you can see that 46 questions were there from Materia Medica and there were 30 questions in the 2017 UPSC Medical Officer or Research Officer post exam. From Materia Medica, 30 questions were there. So today we will see 10 questions from 2016 UPSC question paper, and I would like to say that those 10 questions or the Materia Medica questions, if you see, they are the typical UPSC pattern questions. The difficulty level, the pattern of the question, the style of the question making, everything is very typical to the UPSC pattern. So I believe that by doing these Materia Medica questions, you will come to know how much effort you have to put for while preparing for UPSC Medical Officer, Research Officer or General Duty Medical Officer exams. We will move on to the questions. If you have skipped or not watched the previous two episodes about repertory questions, you may watch them in this playlist. So we have covered the repertory questions, the 20 repertory questions from 2016 and 2017 Medical Officer exam. And today we will see the Materia Medica questions from UPSC 2016, 10 questions. First question is, consider the following statements. Statement 1, Soranum is known as chili sulph. Statement 2, Soranum has all soric manifestations like sulfur, but unlike sulfur, Soranum is extremely chilly. Which one of the following is correct in respect of the above statements? So this is an assertion reasoning type question. One assertion is given, one reason is given, and we have to check whether it is correct explanation of the first statement, if the statement 2 is correct explanation of the statement 1, if both of them are true or not. Everything we have to check, and we have to select one of the option from this A, B, C, D. And this time the latest exam, a competitive exam in the field of homeopathy was AAPGT, the All India Ayush Postgraduate Entrance Test, and we have got the report that around 20 to 25 questions were there from like the style of assertion reasoning type. So here it is given statement 1, statement 2, but this is a clear-cut assertion reasoning type question. So there is some techniques to deal with such questions. We will tell that. So here you have to first go through the options, or you have to know how the pattern of assertion reasoning options will be there. So both option A will be like both statement 1 and statement 2 are true, and statement 2 is the correct explanation of statement 1, and option B will be always both statement 1 and statement 2 are true, but statement 2 is not the correct explanation of statement 1. So first two options are true, both are true, first two options. But in the C and D options, if you see, one will be always false. Maybe statement 1 will be true and statement 2 will be false. Statement 1 is false and statement 2 is true. So like that, always this will be like this in assertion reasoning type. So you should know that when you are doing a assertion reasoning type question, the best way is first you have to eliminate any two of them. Like if you know that these two statements are true, you can eliminate these two, the C and D you can eliminate, because straight away when statement 1 and statement 2 are true, we are eliminating two options. So we are more closer to making a correct answer, because we have eliminated the 50% of the options, the two we have eliminated. So if you are sure that statement 1 is false or statement 2 is false, any one among them is false, you can straight away eliminate A or B. Like you can eliminate these two, because in that case both should be true, but we know that one among that is false. So straight away you can eliminate A and B in that case. So that is the first step you have to do. So only two options will be there in our hand by assessing the statement 1 and 2, whether it is true or false. Okay. So if both are true, the second step we have to do is we have to put a because. Like after the statement 1 we are reading, we have to put a because phrase, because word here. Like for example, statement 1 we have to read like, Soranum is known as chili sulph because Soranum has all soric manifestations like sulfur, but unlike sulfur, Soranum is extremely chilly. So when you put that because, you will sense that okay, whether this is the reason or not, you know that these both are true, but if you put a because, you will get to know whether it is sounding like a proper explanation or not. If you feel that they both are not having any relation, they both are true but they are not related together, so we can straight away rule out the first option because it is not the correct explanation. If it is a correct explanation, we can rule out the second option, B. So here you can just see like this. Soranum is known as chilly sulfur because soranum has all soric manifestations like sulfur, but unlike sulfur, soranum is extremely chilly. Yes, we know that these both sentences are true, and this is the correct explanation for the statement 1. So the answer here is option A. Both statement 1 and statement 2 are true, and statement 2 is the correct explanation of statement 1. So this is the way to deal with assertion reasoning type questions. So we'll see our answer is correct or not. So if you see the John Henry Clark's, J.H. Clark's Dictionary of Practical Materia Medica, soranum, if you see, you can see that characteristics, like in the boric materia medica, there will be always second paragraph. First paragraph will be always the clinical indications, the disease names, where and all this medicine can be adapted. And second topic or title will be characteristics of that remedy. In that, mainly the details about the history of that remedy or some interesting cases, everything will be explained. So this I have already told you while doing how to study Allen's keynote video. I have already mentioned that if you have time, if you are having a 1 year time for preparing, you can always go through the J.H. Clark's Materia Medica, Dictionary of Practical Materia Medica, and also Boric's Materia Medica paragraph and italic symptoms of the remedies, so that when you are mastering Allen's keynote, you will be always having an upper hand above the people who are just preparing with the Allen's keynote alone. So this is the way. So as sulfur has been the chief remedial agent in both schools in the treatment of itch and itch-like eruptions, it is natural to find in the nosode of Sora a constitutional itch, a close analog of sulfur. So according to this, soranum is a close analog of sulfur. Soranum has been proved entirely in the potencies, and I know of no more trustworthy proving in the Materia Medica. I have frequently seen soranum develop some of its own symptoms in patients who it has been benefited in other ways. So all these things it is said. So we know that soranum is a close analog of sulfur. And one more symptom. One great mark of distinction between sulfur and soranum is that soranum patient is exceedingly chilly, likes to have a fur cap on in summer, while sulfur patient is predominantly hot. So the explanation is correct. Soranum is chilly, but it has a very like close resemblance, or it is a close analog of sulfur. That was the question. Second question. Consider the following statements. Statement 1. Coffea cruda antidotes Naxomica. Second statement. Coffea cruda is inimical to Cocculus indicus. So by reading this, we have to check whether A or B or C or D. So first of all, you should have a very good hard work regarding the relationship of remedies, because here the question is about antidotes and inimical. So if you are not thorough with the relationship part of medicines, you cannot answer this kind of questions, because in the coming questions also we can see some interesting questions like this. So here Coffea cruda antidotes Naxomica. Yes, it is true. And Coffea cruda is inimical to Cocculus indicus. That is also true. But now we have to check. So both are true. So we are ruling out the option C and option D, because neither of them are false. So both are true. So it belongs to A or B. The answer belongs to A or B. So first you have to put a because, and you can read that Coffea cruda antidotes Naxomica because Coffea cruda is inimical to Cocculus indicus. So you know that there is no relation between the two statements. So that is not the correct explanation. So straight away we are eliminating the A option also. So answer is B. Both statement 1 and statement 2 are true, but statement 2 is not the correct explanation of statement 1. And we can see here in the relationship of remedies part, Cocculus, the remedy Cocculus relationship inimical Coffea. And Coffea, if you see again inimical Cocculus is there, and antidotes Naxomica. So this portion, this Gibson-Miller's table, or the Bonninghausen's relationship part which is made into a table in the backside of Kemp's repertory, also you can see. Also in the Boric's Materia Medica, some editions you can see this table. You have to master it part by part, or interesting remedies or frequently asked questions. you have to work out very thoroughly. Also the duration of action, sometimes they ask like duration of action of cocculus, how many days, or coffee, how many days, like that questions used to appear. So this table is very, very important, relationship of remedies. Third question, consider the following statements. Statement 1, Nux vomica is preeminently a medicine for man and pulsatilla for women. Statement 2, Nux vomica person is careful and zealous and pulsatilla woman is of changeable disposition. So we have to like inspect where both the statements are true or neither, or either one of them are false. So we know that Nux vomica is a preeminently a medicine for man, that is correct, and pulsatilla for women, that statement is correct. Nux vomica person is careful and zealous and pulsatilla woman is of changeable disposition, that statement is also correct. So we have ruled out C and D because neither of them are false, and we have to check whether the explanation is correct or not. So by reading this we can know that this explanation is not enough to establish that statement 1 is correct. Okay, so this is not the correct explanation, so straight away we are eliminating A also. So answer is B. Both statement 1 and statement 2 are correct or true, but statement 2 is not the correct explanation of statement 1. So we can check the Materia Medica now. So in homeopathic Materia Medica by William Borick, Nux vomica, if you see, Nux is preeminently a male remedy. These conditions are these conditions produce an irritable nervous system or impressions, all these things, and zealous fiery temperament. So that part about Nux vomica it is said. And if you see cares and anxieties, or careful, zealous temperament or personality and preeminently male remedy, that statement is correct. And if you see pulsatilla from Borick, again you can see that it is preeminently a female remedy, especially for mild, gently yielding disposition. All this is changeable, contradictory. So that is all about that question. And fourth question, consider the following statements. Statement 1, camphor is a medicine called for use in emergency cases like cholera and shock, but it should be kept in the bathroom away from all other medicines. Statement 2, it antidotes most of our medicines. So some of the symptoms or some of the questions we cannot find the exact line in some of the books. They are more of where you have to use your common sense and your intelligence. So this question is in like you cannot see this exact line that camphor should be kept away from other medicines in the bathroom. Such a line I couldn't find anywhere. If anybody can find this line, please comment in the comment section. So here you can see camphor is a medicine called for use in emergency cases like cholera and shock. Yeah, that is correct. But it should be kept in the bathroom away from all other medicines. That we are having some confusion. But when you put a because here, because it antidotes most of our medicines. Yes, that sense like that sounds good because it feels like it is explanation. And the answer key by UPSC also says that both statement 1 and statement 2 are true, and statement 2 is the correct explanation of statement 1. So don't worry about such questions. There will be some questions like that, always come confusing questions, but this is not of much confusion because as camphor antidotes most of our medicines, okay, it should be kept away. So here in this question they have put a bathroom kept in the bathroom like that. So this is the answer. And if you see the Materia Medica, this is the Materia Medica by James Taylor Kent, Lectures on Homeopathic Materia Medica. You see the camphor, first line itself, camphor bottle is a great mischief in the house as camphor antidotes most of our remedies. So this is about the camphor bottle, but the question is about the camphor medicine. Whatever the answer given by UPSC is both statements are true and the explanation is true. So this kind of lines you can find in the Materia Medica books which are mentioned in the syllabus. James Taylor Kent's Lectures on Homeopathic Materia Medica are having a lot of interesting sentences like this. For example, Calicab, when he explains, he says, never well since pneumonia, Calicab. So such questions have appeared in the question paper. And in the previous episodes, I used to tell some interesting symptoms like poor breakfast eaters. Clark says about sulfur. So such interesting lines you have to make a note and you have to revise. So whenever time is there, you can do. And fifth question, consider the following. Ravenous hunger at 11 a.m. is seen in. So This is a multiple choice question. So you can see that sulfur, zinc met, cuprum met, lycopodium. 4 medicines or 1, 2, 3, 4 points are given, and which of the above is correct? And the options are like 1, 2, 3, 1 and 2, 1 only, 2 and 4, like that. So this is quite confusing, but if you know the Allen-Skinner properly, there is no point of confusion. So sulfur and zinc met is the answer. Answer is option B, 1 and 2 only. So if you see the Allen-Skinner zinc met, if you see, you can see that hunger, ravenous, about 11 or 12 am. Sulfur is given in brackets, so zinc met and sulfur to be compared. So I have always told you, like whenever there is a like more than one remedy indicated for some condition, like for example here apocyinum, bryonia, hellebores, cuprum met, sulfur, tuberculinum, you can see more than 1 or 2 remedy in the bracket. There is always a possibility of making such questions in UPSC, and you should know, you should always go and consult these medicines, and you should know the lines in that or the indications in that remedies Materia Medica pages also, so that you can master the Materia Medica symptoms. So here the question was about ravenous hunger about 11 or 12 am, and answer is sulfur. Consider the following statements. Statement 1. Kali sulf is known as Schussler's pulsatilla. Statement 2. Like pulsatilla, Kali sulf has wandering pain and thick yellow mucus discharge, but unlike pulsatilla, Kali sulf is extremely irritable. So this Kali sulf is Schussler's pulsatilla, we already know. Statement 1 is correct, and so straight away we are ruling out the option D. Statement 1 is false, that we can rule out now. And second statement we have to consult, like pulsatilla, Kali sulf has wandering pain and thick yellow mucus discharge, but unlike pulsatilla, Kali sulf is extremely irritable. Yes, that statement is also correct, and that also explains why Kali sulf is known as Schussler's pulsatilla. So the answer here is A. Both statement 1 and 2 are true, and statement 2 is the correct explanation of statement 1. So this I am not going to the Materia Medica, because I have already shown you how to consult the Materia Medica and confirm your answers. So this question is already known clearly. So we will go to the next question. Consider the following in respect of lachesis. 1. All symptoms worsen after sleep, or aggravation wakes him up from sleep. So we know that this symptom is a characteristic of lachesis, because sleeps into aggravation. We already know about lachesis. And second is poison of Surukuku snake. That is also correct. And third one, liquids more painful than solids while swallowing. That is also correct. And fourth one, mild tempered, reserved and quiet. So this is not suiting lachesis. So which of the above are correct? 1, 2, 3. And you have to check the option 1, 2, 3. Yeah, straight away, first option itself. So that is the correct answer, 1, 2, 3. So if you don't know the concept clearly, the medicine's proper symptoms, you cannot answer this, because you may have some confusion, like liquids more painful than solid. It is correct, or it is the reverse. So there are chances you make like mistake, like 1 and 2. If option is there are chances to make mistake. But here luckily there is no option like that, 1 and 2. So here you can see mild tempered, reserved, quiet. We know that is wrong. So straight away we can rule out all the options wherever 4 is appearing. So here luckily these options are very easy. Even if the question looks very big, but every option other than the first option, we have 4, 1 and 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4. So straight away intelligent person with common sense and alert in the exam hall can straight away rule out all these 3 options and opt for 1, 2, 3. So this is a very easy question as far as the options are concerned. And the 8th question, consider the following symptoms. Diuretic stool contains sago-like particle with sensation as if anus is wide open. Aggravation by lying on left lateral side and in thunderstorm. Desires to be magnetized, which ameliorates. Bag-like swelling under the eyelid with thirstlessness and burning stinging pain. Burning spot in between the scapula. Which of the above symptoms is or are important so far as selection of phosphorus is concerned? So the question is about phosphorus. So 1, 2, 4. So because 3, you know, it is not related to phosphorus. Even if phosphorus have some eye symptoms or the swelling of eyelid, etc., it is not related to phosphorus. This is an Apis mellifica symptom. and 1, 2, 3 is the correct. So you have to check. 1, 2, 4 is correct. So you have to check the options 1, 2, 4. So like I said in the previous question, 3 is not belonging to phosphorus. So you can rule out the options A and C properly. So here the answer is 1, 2 and 4 because this is a phosphorus symptom 1, 2 and 4, and the answer is option D. And ninth question, children dislike washing is one of the characteristic symptoms of sulfur, ammonium carb, antimonium crudum, spigelia. So here the answer given by the UPSC is 1, 2, 3 and 4. So because sulfur, ammonium carb, antimonium crude, spigelia. But while I consulted the Materia Medica, I could find in ammonium carb, children dislike washing, antimonium crude, sulfur. When I consulted sulfur, antimonium crude, I could find this like comparison. But in spigelia, I couldn't find a symptom in the Allen's keynote or in the other Materia Medicas. But if anyone gets the reference for spigelia also, this symptom, please do comment in the comment box and give the reference. And the 10th question, consider the following relationships. Dulcamara is inimical to belladonna. Baryta carb is inimical to calcarea carb. Phosphorus is complementary to arsenic carb. Sepia is cognate to Naxomica. So which of the above features are correct? So we should know the relationship part very thoroughly, because as far as UPSC is concerned, they will ask such questions. So give some hard work in that area. So we have to check each one of the relationship in this question. So this answer is 1, 2, 3 and 4. All the features given above are correct, and you can see the belladonna is having an inimical relationship with dulcamara, and calcarea carb and baryta carb also having an inimical relationship. And if you see arsenic and phosphorus, you can see that arsenic and phosphorus are complementary remedies. And Naxomica, you can see that in chronic cases, sepia is more apt to be indicated and follows Naxomica well. So this is a statement by James Taylor Kent in the lectures on homeopathic Materia Medica. So that shows that Naxomica and sepia have a cognate relationship. Sepia is the cognate of Naxomica. So that was our question. So thank you for watching this episode of UPSC series by Friend of Health. This was the 3rd episode. If you missed the previous first 2 episodes, you can see the repetitive questions from 2016 and 17 UPSC. So if we have time, we will cover all the questions from 2016 and 2017 UPSC question papers, and also from the previous UPSC question papers. We'll also try to do some more questions, some new questions from the assertion reasoning type and the multiple choice type questions, and also we'll do some concept based discussions. And you can make use of the other videos in the playlist, like 10 in 1 series, the Borix Materia Medica series, and also some other very important revision points, and the AAPGT previous question discussions, and medical mnemonic series from Front of Health. And do comment your feedback and suggestions in the comment box below, so that we can improve and we can try our best to help you in guiding in your preparation. Thank you once again for watching. Have a good day.